Good morning. How are you? Come have some coffee with me, some coffee tea. I'm sorry about the trash truck outside. I would like to talk today about mystical experiences at night. Why I believe this happens more at night when you are awakening your Kundalini. Or I should say, to reword that, to make it about me, because this journal is all about my experiences, never telling anybody what to do, how to live, or what their experience is, ever. But my experience has been at night when I lay down, not so much in my dreams, although I have had some extraordinary dreams, but when I lay down to go to sleep, in that time before I fall asleep, while I'm very relaxed and kind of in that twilight time, that's when some crazy weird shit happens. And beautiful things. I feel that the reason these things happen is because I am relaxed. I'm not thinking about, sometimes I will start to fall asleep with thoughts about, what I need to do the next day and bills I need to pay, whatever it is. But as I'm actually falling asleep, that all melts away. I'm not able to hold on to it. I'm not able to hold on to this reality. I don't know if you've ever noticed when you're falling asleep, but I know that I have noticed that as I'm falling asleep and I get into that twilight state, I will think something like, I really need to get up and pee. And then I have actually had the experience of thinking that I got up to go pee or to get a drink or whatever. And I didn't move. And the experience of it, the thought of it, the vision of it was so real that I actually thought that it was already done until I realized, oh, I'm still thirsty. And then I kind of wake up and think, oh, I never got that drink. So your subconscious mind, your body's relaxed, your environment gets relaxed and kind of fades. Time becomes not a thing anymore because you're not measuring it with anything. You're just relaxed. And this enables your subconscious mind to take over. And I notice that at night, during these times, this is when I have visions. Especially lately, I've been having a lot of visual stuff going on. I guess I would say my pineal gland is activated. And the visions that I have are usually trippy. They're not like I go into some kind of real world and it's like the mundane real world that I experience here. It's more like you would think of like fireworks, and they call them hypnagogic images, hypnagogic, visions. And the only difference between the hypnagogic stuff and the stuff that I'm experiencing is my stuff has actual content that I can understand. The hypnagogic imagery that I've experienced in the past has been like fireworks and colors and geometrical patterns and shapes and expanding and like clouds almost. A lot of times they're like colorful clouds. But this is different. This is like I'm seeing a snake come at me over and over again and open his mouth. That's a big one that has been happening for a few weeks now. Over and over and over again, coming at me, opening his mouth like he's gonna eat me. And it's they're like trails and it's very trippy. So I'm getting a lot of visuals. And I think, for me anyway, my personal belief on that is that as you are awakening this energy, the third eye naturally opens when you raise the Kundalini. It's got to come through all the chakras, and at the third eye, it's like right below the crown. So I feel like this is a sign of progress, and I'm very happy about it, and it's great. I gave up the hope for an actual like big Kundalini awakening experience because I feel that this is a journey. There's nothing to get to, there's no destination, it's unfolding, and I found that wanting a mystical experience was getting in the way of my meditation and my journey, my path. It was frustrating, and that doesn't add to anything and good in my life. So I gave up wanting a big mystical experience, and I'm just doing the work, just doing my meditation, journaling, praying, doing all the stuff that I do in my day to connect with the divine and to allow this energy to flow through me. So the other thing that I experience a lot of, which is absolutely beautiful, I would say almost orgasmic, is this sensation of dispersing and becoming like light, or like particles, or it's very hard to put into words the bodily sensations that I've been having as I'm falling asleep for the past month at least. But it feels very much like the way that my body is held together isn't working anymore, and I'm just spreading out everywhere, expanding. And like if I were to open my eyes and that sensation was real, I wouldn't have a body anymore. I would be particles of light everywhere. That's what it feels like. And it's amazing. What a beautiful feeling. There are sensations of floating, sensations of the Kundalini energy actually rising through all my chakras. Sometimes I can feel that in waves, these waves of orgasmic bliss. I've also had some not so great experiences. And the reason that I feel that they're not so great is because I am resistant to them, and I'm used to my reality. And I mean, I have preferences, and that causes resistance, and the resistance is actually what makes them the negative experiences. There's no good or bad, it's just my interpretation of it. And my interpretation of some of the things that happen isn't good. Last night, for example, I was laying down trying to go to sleep, and I got the strongest feeling that there was somebody in the room. And that's happened to me way before I started this journey of intentionally raising my Kundalini. It used to happen to me when I was a kid, but there was a part of me that knew it was my imagination. And I knew there was nobody in the room. This is different because the feeling was there is somebody in the room. I just can't see them with my eyes. When I open my eyes, I can't see anybody. But they're here. I know they're here. And when I was younger and when I used to get scared being in my room at night by myself, it wasn't like that. It was like, nobody's really in this room, like I'm just scared from the movie I watched or whatever. I could feel a presence last night, and it was a huge presence. I could actually see the guy in my mind's eye. When I closed my eyes, I could see a big, bearded, fat man kind of squatting in the corner, and so big that his shoulders were on the ceiling like this, and he was bless me, forced to look down because he was too big and his head was hitting the ceiling. And I was scared at first, really scared me. And I kind of got, stiff and like wanted it to go away. And then I thought, and this is something that I would recommend to anyone who's having trouble with scary things like this going on with the Kundalini. I was like, okay, the Kundalini is friendly and wants to remove the blocks from me, wants to help me, guide me toward my purpose. It wants life. It wants the expression of life, and it wants to affirm life. This entity is not evil. It's just unknown. And as soon as I thought that, the vibe changed, and I could feel the presence, but there wasn't the fear around it. So if something terrifying is happening to you, something scary, my recommendation is to recognize that Kundalini is friendly. I don't actually think it's friendly in the way that we think of as friendly, which is like we think of a friend as somebody who's there to always be telling us what a good job we're doing and you can do it, and like, oh no, that looks great on you. It's not a friend like that. Kundalini is the friend that shows you your shit and that pushes you out of the plane with the parachute on when you're terrified. It's the friend who knows what's best for you, even when you don't, and pushes you no matter what, even if you really don't want to be pushed. It's kind of relentless. I've noticed that like blocks will come up, and Kundalini's like, oh, we're going to work through this block. You're not going to like it. Hang on, do whatever you need to, but I got this, and it kind of chips away at it. That's how I feel. So anyway, I'm totally getting off topic here. More experiences at night. Really, it's just more of an intense experience of the Kundalini moving throughout my body, and more intense feelings of, or more intense visual stuff going on. I sense things in the room. One of the other negative things that happens to me sometimes is my back. My back will hurt really badly. I'm being tested for MS right now because I have such physical symptoms that I am assuming are Kundalini symptoms, but I don't know for sure because I don't know anything for sure really, so I'm having doctors look into it, but I'd be shocked if it were MS. It's Kundalini. I would bet just about anything if that's what it is. It's just, I'm not dumb, and I want to make sure that I have it checked out. Anyway, so as I'm laying down at night, sometimes my back will really burn, and I'll actually feel burning up my spine. My lower back will be really achy. I'll feel tightness, all the Kundalini stuff that goes on during the day, but I have no other distractions, and I'm relaxed, so it's moving more, so the pain can get really intense. Something that Kundalini does that is really interesting to me, fascinating and wonderful, is it increases sensitivity. I've heard this before because I did study Kundalini before I started experiencing movement of it, but I didn't realize to what extent the sensitivity is increased. It's incredible. First of all, colors. Oh my goodness. It's almost like I've never seen colors before. The colors are so much more vivid and bright and real and crisp, and it's like before I started moving this energy, I had a screen that I was looking through that made everything dingy and dull, and now this energy is being awakened in me, or moving in me at least, and colors are like super vivid and clear. My eyesight is different. But anyway, I'm getting into the symptoms of it, not the nighttime stuff. Dreams have not really been all that significant, actually, surprisingly so. I assumed that I would have very vivid dreams and that they would be prophetic and clairvoyant. It's not the case. It's really crazy because I have not experienced prophetic dreams or clairvoyant dreams. My fiance has experienced dreams about me that were extremely clairvoyant. Not prophetic so much, but he knew what I was doing because he sleeps later than me. So there was one dream that he had that he was telling me what I was doing downstairs without realizing that's what he was telling me. That was pretty crazy. It's like, wow, why do you get those dreams? Anyway, the experiences at night are really interesting, and sometimes they can cause sleep disturbances. And I really can't tell you anything about that, what to do about it. If you are experiencing a lot of Kundalini energy rushing through you, it happens to me, and I really don't know what to do about it to calm it down. So what I've been doing is embracing it, and just I'll get up and I'll meditate. And that actually, I mean, of course it increases the energy of it, so it doesn't help to slow it down, but I'm using it, and it wants to be risen. So that's all I have for that. The other thing that I think is extremely helpful if you're having trouble sleeping, for me anyway, tremendously helpful, is be physically active during the day. I exercise a lot. I'm very into yoga and weightlifting, and weightlifting means, like, you know, I have my 10-pound weights. I'm not like a power lifter or anything, but the physical exertion, first of all, grounds you in real life, but it also helps you to be exhausted. The other thing that I've noticed is very helpful, believe it or not, is a few hours before bed, eat something grounding. For me, that's been hugely helpful, so I'll eat something heavy. I'm pretty vegan. I eat goat cheese, but other than that, and I only eat goat cheese because yogis eat goat cheese. It's part of the kind of staple of their diet. So I'm following the path of the yogi, and that's what I do. But other than that, I don't eat meat, but I will eat something heavy, nuts or avocado, something fatty and heavy a couple of hours before bed, and that seems to really help. So those are my experiences at night. I'm wondering if you are experiencing increased Kundalini activity at night, and if so, what are your experiences? Comment below, email me. I would love to hear from you. You're awesome, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye. Bye, goodbye. Like, subscribe, because share love. I don't know. Whatever.